Over the last few months, I've been paying attention a lot to what's happening to the world of business. Not necessarily from just the perspective of internet marketing, from just me being a growth consultant and, running ads, building funnels, helping people get leads, help people get customers, but just looking at the game from every single industry you can think of, whether that be software, people building a lot of AI tools, venture capital firms, looking at, people in our space, coaches, consultants, agency owners, every single industry, the way that money is made has completely flipped on its head. And I don't know if have you guys felt it? Have you guys felt, for anyone who's been in business for longer than, let's say, I would say 4 years, 5 years, have you guys felt just a change in how markets work and how people transact? I'm really curious to see your feedback in the chat, right? It's just completely broken. And because, the way that I got taught marketing and sales and how to make money online was from people like Sam Ovens, right? Or Nick Cosman. I don't know, he went crazy. He's no longer on the face of the planet. Or from the guys like Taylor Welch, Traffic and Funnels, where the simple strategy was, oh, like, oh, you want to make money? Okay, perfect. Well, then just find a niche, uh, put an ad together, or cold outreach, right? And then present your offer, present a VSL with your offer, and get someone to book an appointment, and then take five sales calls, get five people, 10 people to show up, and pitch all of them. And maybe you're really okay at sales. So maybe you close one, two new clients, and then you maybe collect 5K from each client. You spend maybe $1,000 on ads. Um, and then you're like, wow, I have, 5X, 2X, or 10X on my money, right? You're like, wow, this is a great business. I should probably keep running this funnel and, go to 100 grand a month, go to $1 million a month. Or you could do like those low ticket funnels and then get people on a workshop and then sell them, blah, 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 blah. Do all these things. Um, how many people are still running this where your acquisition is actually predictable? I'm curious. Maybe if you're selling GLP-1s, of course, maybe that works, right? But if you're selling services, high ticket, and you're a knowledge worker and you do something that is a hard skill to acquire and you're trying to get customers, the game of marketing has completely changed. People do not buy from you because you're a service provider. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that you run ads. Like, why do I care that you run ads exactly? Why do I care that you're an editor? Why do I care that you're a coach about this specific thing? Why do I care that you sell insurance? Why should I care about you when I have 1,000 views? People do not buy from you because you're a service provider anymore. People buy from you because they want to spend money with you. It's literally from because they like you. It has nothing to do with the fact that you have case studies, you have this. It's like, do I feel like this person gives me more value than he tries to take away? Okay, perfect. Whenever I have a pain that he can solve, I'll be happy to do business with him. Right? So, how does this show up in business? Because the top 1%, if you guys have not noticed, have completely changed how they market. It's no longer about, oh, I have this one funnel that makes me a lot of money that you don't know about. Oh, like copy it and you're going to make money. No, 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 no. Doesn't work anymore. Which is why if you spend all your money trying to do business with people who are trying to help you get more leads, more customers, there is nothing they can build one time that is going to change your acquisition problems. You're still going to struggle with client acquisition if you don't understand the following, that all money today is made from feeding, flooding the algorithm. Okay. This training today is going to help you if you make money from strangers and if you need more strangers to know and trust you, if you need a cheap and predictable way to acquire customers, or if you're looking for the number one problem you can solve for businesses with AI and make all the money you desire. Because here's one thing that I always like to do. As I'm figuring out insight, I also like to make it clear that if you learn to solve this insight for yourself, you also get $1 million ticket because you can go find that, take this playbook that you figured out for yourself or for your client and go sell it to more people. So as I solve this for your business, understand that if you don't have a specific thing that you're selling that's valuable that you think you can actually close people on for a premium, then go solve this problem that I'm about to walk you guys through. So, um, question to you guys. Hormozy, as you guys know, was running Gym Launch and, running gyms. And last year, he did $100 million in 72 hours, right? In cash collected, selling books, by the way, and coaching and a community. What does he have in common with Shelby right now, who's doing $5 million a month, helping women become sales professionals or closers for high ticket services? What do they have in common with maybe someone like Elon Musk? Um, I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm gonna pull it up on this side of things so you guys can see it. What do they have in common with Grant Cardone or Chamath Palihapitiya, uh, who used to be working at Facebook, became a billionaire, and now launched 8090, which is a coding platform for enterprise companies. It's essentially the Cursor, the Claude code, but for enterprises. What do all these businesses have in common, or these entrepreneurs, who are, by the way, printing money? They're like some of the most successful. Let's go on Elon Musk profile. Um, 1 hour ago, 1 hour ago, 22 minutes ago, 54 minutes ago, 1 hour ago, 1 hour ago, 2 hours ago, 1 hour ago, 3 hours ago, 16 hours ago. Oh, by the way, last week he was a trillionaire. Let's go on Chamath. Uh, Made $4 billion last, like a few months ago from the exit of one of the companies that he had invested in, which is Grok, which is the chip manufacturer. They figure out a new architecture for chips. So they essentially help platforms or AI models do inference faster. So it helps you get an answer faster, right? They sold it for $20 billion to Anthropic. We can go to Hormozy if you guys want, or Grant. If you go on Grant's profile, all everyone here does that I just walked you guys through, they're just flooding. They're posting so much. They're posting so much that you'd think that it's almost like, whoa, why would someone who makes hundreds of millions of dollars a year be yapping all day, every day about what they sell, about themselves? Like, why? She can spend money on ads. She's spending money on ads. Shelby, they're probably spending multiple six figures, if not $1 million a month on ads, right? Why do you guys think they're posting, guys, in the chat? Why suddenly has it become a volume game, right? Well, let me show you guys a quick transformation so that this all makes sense. We had a client. So we have a client who, I'll show you guys, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, had launched his ever first ad campaign. So he was a full-time engineer. And, he came to us. He wanted to launch an AI agency. And, we picked a niche for him. We launched ads for him. He launched his first campaign on the 20th of November, booked his first two sales calls, which is really sick. I wish when I was starting out, I could just, have a way to have content, like put an ad out there, spend money on ads, a few, $20 a day on ads and get my first calls. And he closed his first client so he launched in what is this? This is October. In November 6th, he closed his first client. Nothing crazy, right? 2.5K. I think he collected like a few $100 up first and then the rest later. How does someone go from this year um, to April doing, $10,000 from 10K a month to 10K a week to closing one client here for 2,500 on the 5th? 30 minutes later, getting another first client to pay him 2,500. He's selling to people who sell, he's in the insurance niche. So he doesn't have, the prospect that he's selling to don't necessarily have a lot of budget and a bunch of money. So he's comfortable at this 2,500 price. I do think it's cheap, but That's another story. And then essentially just consistently just collecting payments after payments. Well, it's not because of ads per se. Okay. What he's figured out is all he does on his Instagram is he posts maybe once a day, twice a day, a specific 31-minute video, right? Clip every day. And the thing that he's trying to figure out is, can I post a reel and have that reel be pushed by the algorithm? And if I even get like a slight confirmation that it's reaching the right people, then I amplify it with ads. He spent $1,000 on ads in a single month, generated 300 new followers, and reached out to all the new followers, all the people that engaged with him, and converted them into appointments. So he converted like 10% of them into appointments, 29 sales calls, 19 showed up, um, off made a pitch to 15 of the people that showed up, and closed 12 new clients from $1,000 in spend. Okay. This here is why every single figure who's doing infinitely better in the current landscape, it doesn't even matter, by the way, if it's in the online space or you're selling insurance or you're selling roofs or you're selling whatever. If you do not have a way to take advantage of this new world of marketing, which is just understanding that content is the funnel, then you're not going to make it. You're simply not. There's no amount of outreach and ad spend that you can put into the algorithm or in effort and time that will make you profitable to the point that you truly become financially free. And the way that I like to think about it is that the cost of acquiring attention through traditional channels is so expensive is so expensive that it's pointless. And here is why. And here's why I say that. Your business, or if you want to make money, you have to understand that business is really LTV minus CAC, okay? Equals profit, the money that you actually end up paying rent with, mortgage with, paying for that Porsche that you want, paying for the vacation, paying for the glass of wine that you want to drink at dinner or the bottle of wine, if you're like me. Um, buy a car for your daughter, buy a car for your wife. All that is purchased with here, profit. Okay. What can you do to increase this profit? Well, you have two choices. Either you increase LTV by selling more things or selling to higher quality prospects, essentially solving harder problems. That's one way to do it. Or you can reduce your CAC to zero. There's only two ways to make profit at the end of the day. For most people, you don't really have that much control on selling. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to start selling data centers, or I'm going to start like building like chips and for AI. Like, yeah, of course, if you get into the data center game today, there's so much demand that you're going to make billions of dollars. But to get into that game is as hard as it gets, not just from the regulation point of view, but even the skill set that you need to do, the capital so you can decide to go compete with Elon Musk. That's totally fine. You will have an amazing LTV. You'll have internet in the sky, and the entire world is going to rent internet from you. But you then have to figure out how to launch rockets, how to put satellites in the atmosphere, all of that. We can go figure those things out. For most service providers, the only thing you can really play on is your cost to acquire a customer. Okay. And in this case, what CAC really is here, it's $1,000, 1.3K, divided by the amount of clients he closed. So if we divide that, that means that his CAC right now for Hamad is like $100 or 100 to $200 per client. Every time he spends $100 and $200 to boost some of his content, he ends up with someone giving him 2.5K. So every time he puts this in essentially pushing the content that he already has, he ends up with 2.5K. You do this over and over and over again until you make the millions and never look back, right? Um, but let's go into why is this happening today? The first thing we have to understand is that the algorithm has completely changed, right? If I go on my Instagram, which is what I was showing you guys earlier today, I'll go on my profile real quick. I posted this yesterday, just nothing crazy, because I've been doing this test, by the way. Uh, I've been doing this test here, which is I've just been blasting content all day, every day. I don't really care if people see it or not. I don't care about views. But I've been just looking at this one thing, which is if I just post something, okay, how many of the people that follow me are going to see it? And how many new followers or non-followers are going to see it? As an example, if you see this piece of content, I posted it yesterday. It took me 1 minute and 30 seconds to record. It has 7,000 views, and 4,500 people saw it. 47% of them don't follow me. Okay. Just to put things into perspective, um, to get 1,000 impressions, let's see here. To get 1,000 people to see your piece of content, if you're advertising and spending money on ads, it's going to cost you, let's say, $100, $152, 133, so 93. So this piece of content here was essentially worth, um, essentially, let's say 7,000, seven times, sometimes $100. So I got like $500 worth of impressions. Does that make sense? From just posting. Or we could go look at something like this here. This other piece of content, where I have 150,000 views, 100,000 people reached, and 85% of everyone who saw the piece of content doesn't follow me, all new followers. And I didn't spend a dime on ads. I didn't do a single thing about it. Or this other piece of content, 52,000 views, 85% of those that saw it don't follow me out of the 33,000 people that engaged with it. The algorithm has pivoted from having it be a follower-based machine to a merit-based system, which means you're judged based on the quality of your message, not how famous you are. That's lesson number one. Okay. You're not judged based on how famous you are. Nobody cares about how many leads you have. Nobody cares about how much money you're spending on ads. It's, can you find a piece of message? What's your message? Then give it to the algorithm, and it will decide if you either get pushed and get attention, eyeballs for free, or if you won't. Okay. That's one. But then there's also a second thing that has happened. Hours spent on the scroll. I love to see people who are like, oh, my ideal client is not on social media. Like, no, 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 like, no, like what? No, I don't, there's no point for me on social media. Like, I'm selling to these big enterprise clients. Oh, so you're saying that what? So why? There are some people who are so like complex and sophisticated that they don't open social media. I'm curious. Anybody here has someone who do you sell to that's not on social media? Let me know in the chat, guys. Anybody here has anyone who they sell to um who's not on social media, or that you have a perspective that your ideal client isn't on here? Let me know in the chat. I'm really curious. Or if you have a market you're going after that, you know, isn't on there. I'm going to be looking at the chat real quick. Every single person is on the scroll daily. I tell those clients they're a politician on social media, include Facebook, all membership associations, anybody in social. Yep, cool. So we can all agree that everyone is on social. But just to give you guys some context, if you guys look up how the average time spent by a human on their phone, it equals 6 hours a day, 5 to 6 hours per day. Okay. And what's interesting is that 60% of it is spent scrolling. And when I say humans, I mean 3 billion plus users are on socials. And it doesn't matter if it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, or X, or whatever you want to call it. but there are 3 billion plus monthly active users of social platforms that spend 5 to 6 hours a day scrolling. No, 5 to 6 hours a day on their phone, and most of it is spent scrolling. So that means that imagine this, guys. I want to help you guys understand what's happening here. If you are Facebook, you're Mark Zuckerberg, and you have 3 billion people spending 5 to 6 hours a day on your platform or TikTok, what is the number one constraint of your business to retaining 3 billion people for 30 more minutes on your platform? Someone want to answer it? What do you think is the number one bottleneck to Mark's ability to have more people spend more hours on their platform? Someone said engagement, watch time, content. And that's exactly it. So what has happened is these platforms, number one incentive is to keep people scrolling. Okay. But they can't manufacture themselves enough content to have 3 billion people happy and staying on the platforms. So what they've done is they've made the algo be meritocratic. Post something good. If it's good, we'll share it. We'll share it for free because we simply don't have enough inventory of content to satisfy 3 billion people. So here's what the 1% has understood. The Hormozis of the world, the Ryan Serhant of the world, the Grant Cardones of the world, the whoever of the world who's actually making any dollar online is they've understood that, okay, if the number one incentive of these platforms is keep me on the platform and that they need content to stick to the platform, right? Then the way that I get more attention is not like the traditional sense of like spend more on ads. This is how people think that like, oh, you want to grow? Oh, spend more on ads. I see those reels every day. People are like, spend more on ads. Not really. You're not aligned with the incentives of the platform from spending more money on ads because an ad, nobody wants to see an ad. People want to be entertained. People want value. So anytime you are running ads, you're actually paying for the same attention that you could be acquiring for free. So the reason why someone like Hormozi spends, posts like 3 times a day, he's on YouTube, he has like another YouTube channel where he's like doing, if you guys go, uh, if we go look at more Mosey, um, right, this new channel, and if you look at how often he posts, 35 minutes ago, 2 hours ago, 14 hours ago, 16 hours ago, 17 hours ago, 20 hours ago, 23 hours ago, one day ago, like posting like 4 or 5 pieces of somewhat mid long form content, and he's also flooding the scroll, is because he understands that it's now a function of volume makes you lucky to get free attention because your competition still thinks in terms of like, oh, I'm just going to create one or two, three, four, five ads, and I'm going to put $100 a day, and just going to get sales calls. Oh, okay, cool. Well, you can do that. But in a world where there's 3 billion people every day that are spending all this time on content or scrolling, and that the platforms need the content to serve these people, these billions of people, then I don't actually need to spend that much money on ads. I could just post 2, 3 times a day and let the algorithm do its job. Does it now make sense why everyone is posting 5, 10 times a day? Let me know in the chat. That's a lot of work. I know. And that's the thing we're gonna be solving real quick. Um, but for me, so also the cool thing that you have to understand is that once you have pumped the algorithm and gotten the free attention, okay? So something like here, um, once you have people just visiting your profile, looking at content, um, something like this here, and you're just building up um, data on your profile, you can then simply launch a campaign on ads and just retarget everyone who has visited your profile. And that drops the cost of impressions to as close to cheap or to as, it makes it infinitely cheaper than having to buy the attention from what? Top of funnel. This is the whole game. Flood the algo, then retarget everybody um, with your ads, or do the conversions in the appointment setting. Okay. Now, um, the bottleneck here becomes, well, it's a lot of content to be created. The other thing is that, okay, well, how do, even if I was willing to create the content, how do I find what works? And then the third issue is like, okay, then how does the whole conversion process look like? Okay. So I'm going to show you guys a few things. Hopefully it helps you guys out with what you guys are doing. Um, we decided to approach the game a little differently, which is if we understand that the number one reason why someone's business won't grow is because they lack attention or the cost to acquire attention is so expensive, then how would we help someone in that business have an easier time um, to finding what works? And what I mean by finding what works, I literally mean um, what's already attracting your ideal client's attention on the scroll. And when I say on the scroll, I'm not talking about just like TikTok or Instagram Reels. I'm actually talking about every platform where someone scrolls, right? Where all attention, I've came to realize that like all platforms where someone is scrolling is where all attention goes. Think about it. Literally think about it. Catch yourself throughout the day today and look at where your attention is going. It's always on things that scroll. It's really weird. But anyway, so first bottleneck that we have to solve for is finding what works. The second thing is the actual creation of the content. And then the last step is like, okay, conversion. Um, the first thing we did when it comes to content um, is defining of what works. We're solving it with what you might call a swarm of agents. And what a swarm of agents looks like, and I'll explain to you guys how we built this. Essentially, a swarm of agents is, think of it as 5, 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 different Claude codes or codecs that you give access to a browser, you give access to a computer on the cloud, and you just let it rip. You give it a niche. You and okay, let me explain it better. You cannot manage agents. You can't even manage 70 employees as a one person company or as a manager, more than seven direct reports. So you definitely are not going to manage seven AI agents. Imagine having to speak with 100 uh, chat GPTs at the same time or Claudes. How would you do it? You can't. You can't say, hey, go do this for me, go do this for me, go do this for me. And as 100 agents come back to you, you cannot tell them, oh yeah, this is a great work and audit all the work that they're doing. It's simply not possible. So what we've figured out is this architecture around getting Claude, right? Claude as the orchestrator or the manager that then will spin up Codex. Codex, Codex is from ChatGPT, by the way, for anyone not familiar with Codex. It will spin up one Codex. It will spin up five Codex. It will spin up 100 different codexes, right? And what we want to do is we want to let AI manage AI when it comes to giving AI the job that we want it to do. So let's say one codex job will be, hey, go scroll on TikTok. And the other job will be, hey, go scroll on IG. And the other one is going to be, hey, you know what? I'm curious around knowing what works on YouTube, the formats, the packaging, the everything. Or you might be, hey, Codex, go look at ads. Hey, Codex, I want you to go into um, getting the entire funnel architecture of a company doing 5 mil a month because I want to help this other coach generate even 500K a month with it by replicating everything. So, and what you guys are seeing right now is data being currently like just the agents are just scorching the earth to find truth of what's currently already hooking because the attention is already being acquired by your competitor. Whether you like it or not, someone is already selling the thing you want to sell to the market you want to sell it to. and to even more markets, the only reason why you are not making the money that they are making is simply because, one, you don't know what you would get in front of a camera and say. First of all, the hook matters tremendously. The body, what insight are you going to give them that's going to make them want to trust you and think that and perceive you as an authority figure and actually be like, wow, this person is actually really insightful. They know what they're talking about. They're not just someone who watched a YouTube video and is just trying to sell me bullshit. This person is actually really savvy. Okay. And what are going to be the lead magnets that actually turn these people into people that want to give you their information, their email, their phone number, everything, so that you can enter a sales conversation. Okay. All of what is working in your market already exists. This is the number one thing I keep saying with people who keep on just fighting an uphill battle with their business is they trying to figure out how to win. I'm like, why are you spending your day talking to AI or like thinking through your problems when someone else is already getting the attention you need and is already making the money you need to be making? You're going to have to compete, but if you're going to compete, you better compete with the best, not copy people who are struggling. Okay? So that's step number one. The architecture of leveraging a swarm of agents to go do work for you. And what's cool about this architecture is that once these agents have an output, you do not need to look at it. The manager, the orchestrator, is going to come back here and they're going to QA the output, and then they're going to present it to you as CEO, as an actual true manager of a company of agents. Okay. Why is this valuable as a skill to have to know how to do this? Is because now you can then make magic happen in any industry you want, as long as data exists online. You can have 300 agents go do work for you at a scale that you didn't even know could exist. You can overcome all the lack of skills and knowledge that you have. You're no longer bounded to your capabilities. You're bounded to the capabilities of Claude being able to figure out your problem. And then you're bounded to how many tokens you can burn with agents. You're not bonded with oh, can I pay a $5,000 a month media buyer? Can I then pay a $2,000 a month funnel builder? Can I not also pay someone to help me with sales? If I'm struggling with sales to close lead gen for insurance, I'm going to say, hey, Claude, please use the tech linear scale, launch Codex or launch a few employees. And I want you to watch all the YouTube videos around how to sell, especially when it comes to selling to local service businesses. And I want you to audit my business. And then I want you to then improve our sales script. It's going to come back. It's going to go watch maybe a YouTube training that I'm about to release very soon around how to sell over the phone. And it's just going to come back and say, hey, I saw this framework. It really applies to your offer. Here's what you should do. Right? That's that. Now, content creation bottleneck. Once you know what works, do I necessarily think that the idea is like to replace everything with AI content? No. I personally think, guys, prioritize taking your phone out and just talk for 60 seconds, for maybe 90 seconds, for just make it a habit to just yap into a camera or in front of your computer. It doesn't really matter. Why is this important? Is because you want to create an asset. Even the world is coming really fast where AI is going to be able to create all the content, but you do not want to live in that world. You do not want to be competing in that world because guess what? You're not going to beat AI. So what's your insurance policy? Your own brand. Right now, with every client that we're helping solve this problem, yes, we'll do AI, but we're also saying, hey, here's the hook, here's the script, here's the visual thing you need to replicate, here's the lead magnet that already has 1,000 comments on another post. Replicate everything, but still build a personal brand that is going to be worthy. It's going to be the thing that keeps on paying you for a lifetime. But if you go fully AI agentic, then people won't, even if people opt in and they engage with your content, they won't really feel like they're coming back to you for, they won't have any engagement and any investment with you. So you're just going to be AI slop maxing. You can get attention for free. It's going to be cheaper, but you won't have any value in your brand. Okay. Uh, and then the second piece is AI creatives. So I'll show you guys a few angles. Um, there's faceless AI, and then there's, you can just clone yourself, AI. Let me show you an example first. Um, so I'll pull this up real quick so you guys can see it. Um, and I'll explain to you guys the things that open up with this because this is super powerful as you figure it out. File. We've gone into a lot of different industries, not just online services, but also local services, because we believe that the number one reason keeping every business from truly growing, even in the local markets, boring businesses, is their inability to actually have content and nurturing the leads that can't come into their funnel. They're all always like, "Oh, my lead quality is really shit." I'm like, "No, it's just that the lead you got don't know you, don't trust you, and they have no reason to be invested in your business. Why should they buy a roof from you when there's a guy who talks about roofs all day, every day on TikTok that they like, right? Um, there is no reason to do business with you. Okay. So this is the first piece example so I can show you guys. Um, this is the first example. We were trying to do the test here. So, and I'll show you guys claymation ads because the way that we're also unlocking this is uh, it's not just about content that goes on the feed, but it's also there's a big room to create a service or a mechanism that also create ads that resonate with your market. But so this is a reel that had 300 comments. I believe it was on TikTok or Instagram. I don't know. But we want to find, so this is, let's say, in the dental world. And we found this piece of content interesting because it's a simple 7-second reel. I'll play it right now. Right? So 7 seconds, but it has 200, 300 comments. Let's say half of them commented to engage. I was like, huh, this is pretty interesting. And we realized that the biggest insight here is actually the hook and the copy in on the screen, which says, not to be dramatic, but if you have gum disease and you aren't drinking green tea every day, what are you doing? And I believe in the comments there was like a CTA for like, hey, comment green if you want to learn more. And he got, 300 comments. We were like, okay, perfect. If we were working with uh, a specialist who would also want to sell to the leads that engage with this post, how would we do it? Well, we would take the format that's already working and we would just clone them in the same setting and just repost it. So here's kind of like an example of an avatar that we put in the same setting, in the same clip, in the same music. So check this out. And look at everything. All the movements are identical. Boom. Or we're like, hey, we want to attract more attention from more dental practices. And we noticed a trend when it comes to like social platforms. People don't engage with like you wouldn't engage with my content if I was making content around actually selling to you, right? You engage with content that reflect more of yourself, FYI. So you guys will see this. All the realtors congregate on realtor profiles, on realtor content. All the dentists congregate on the dental content. All the all the agency owners congregate to agency owner profiles. It's not that your market is actually following you. That doesn't work. It's you have to create an identity that almost like reflect back who you want to sell to, and you'll have all the attention you want from who you want to sell to. So our idea here, our playbook is we're trying to create content that is already attracting our ideal ICP, even if it's not necessarily content of ourselves, but we find formats that they're already engaging with and they're liking and they find funny, even if it's skits like this here. and then putting another avatar in the same clip. And the bet that we're trying to make here is that if out of these 127 comments are other dental practices that found this funny because they relate to it, perfect. Please get me more dentists watching this. And the bet I want to make is perfect. Once they engage with the profile, then I can retarget them at the low CPM cost and then offer them an offer to help them solve their problems. Does that make sense? So you actually get the reach, not so you can necessarily sell through content, but so you can actually retarget them and essentially push that attention to whatever you want to sell to the ICP or the person who would engage with such a clip. Or you want to find like super more memes and things that are funny, do it. Someone just said, is it okay to clone? I mean, 1,000%. It's free for all, right? So, or you find talking heads videos,
There is one kind of dentist I have no respect. Zilch, nada.
boom, same thing like this here. Okay. Um, so this is one side of this, which is like you're using an actual human and the assets and the piece of content or whatever, and you're just trying to essentially replicate the things that went that got the reach, that got the engagement from the people that you would like to sell to. Okay. Now, there's also another type of format, which is a little bit more so for, I'll show you guys. That's a little bit different from, let's say you're running a construction business or you want to get attention, um, and you're running just this business that, doesn't necessarily need a personal brand. Well, this is like an example of a profile that I'm going to show you. These guys sell detached homes that you build in the backyard. It's like in California, there's like this rule that allows you to have a second like flat or build, and then you can rent it out. And what this guy did, he figured out a way to find a format that triggers everybody. Everybody's like, oh, this is AI. I'll show you guys. Um, oops, I don't know why it's not posting. Um, I don't know why it's not showing up. Like this something here. So like speed run, speed roll, add a bunch of assets. Um, and this gets everybody triggered saying like, hey, um, well, at this point, I think people can't even recognize it's AI. Horrible, serious congestion. No, thank you. But look at this here. This guy asks, hey, comment ADU, and then we're going to send you a free feasibility study. So it's like their lead magnet. And Mrs. D. Sanchez commented. Um, Boxing Mommy commented. Uh, commented. Escalante commented. And you'd be surprised, but if you were advertising in California to sell these things, it would be the same leads you would be getting. Okay. So they're almost like there's now these markets, these visual artifacts of AI. So like what I just showed you guys earlier was like, okay, it's like a person-based content. Well, if you're changing roofs, if you're building something physical, renovating, um, why just have AI create everything? Okay. So we've been able to recreate the same exact format of content, and you can just flood the scroll all day, every day, and get leads for close to free. And you guys can see the impressions: 400,000 views, 22,000 views, 31,000 views, 50,000 views, 384,000 views, 389,000 views, 75,000, 50,000 views. Imagine if, let's say they stop making it AI creatives, but then they retarget everyone who's visited this profile with an actual person talking and giving them an offer. The cost of attention and the cost per lead would be like 1/10 of the traditional cost per lead because they already have everyone who visited. You can retarget them with ads. and have your cost per lead be almost free. Okay. So two sides. Either faceless AI, you go this route here, or you can have a clone of someone else, of an avatar. That's one side here. Um, or you can clone yourself if you wanted to, and have essentially the formats that I showed you guys earlier, where you put yourself in the shoes of the asset and the messaging that already worked, and then run with it. Okay. Now, conversions, really simple. Preferably happens through retargeting, or it happens through the DMs. Retarget people to a DM or to a specific funnel. And the funnel can be, can be a VSL funnel, can be a webinar funnel, it can be a application funnel, it can be whatever. It can be even, hey, DM me this keyword and I'll give you this. DMs works really simple. Qualify, nurture with a sales asset, and then make the offer for a call. What we've noticed work really well is having an agent that can actually qualify, have all the pieces of content that you can send to your leads, and have it do all the work. I'll show you guys an example. I think if you guys have been WhatsApp, let me show you guys an example here. This is from a client who we built this agent for on WhatsApp, because he's in the UK, so a lot of his leads were using WhatsApp. What this agent does is it has essentially all the training around your offer and the context and the educational pieces of content. And then every lead that engages with your piece of content, or that becomes a lead through your funnel, the agent is going to just start nurturing them, qualifying them, asking them, hey, what are you currently looking for? What are you struggling with?
My Gmail notifications are on. I'll get a notification. Oh, so and so is booked in. And I'm like, yo, what's going on? What's going on? Like, this is the few is so crazy. Like, I literally be sleeping or doing something crazy, and then I'll wake up and be like, oh, I've got 3 appointments booked in the coming days. It's been amazing.
I love to hear that, bro.
And so yeah, just been kind of booking them. I think what I've seen has been really useful as well is the kind of no-show slash rescheduling capabilities. So obviously here, yeah. So I had an original appointment with him on Tuesday. He let me know he couldn't make it. Then the bot asked to confirm whether it was cancelled, ended up cancelling, then just triaging some more, asking him some more questions, getting some pain points out. And then through that, went through a really smooth rebooking process, because that's one thing that's obviously super difficult, is if leads are cancelling and stuff, getting them back on follow-up calls and stuff is quite difficult. But again, having something that's instant, like whilst they're responding, whilst they're letting me know they can't make it, instantly being able to connect with them and get them straight back in the calendar has been like gold dust, because otherwise it's calling them back up and they're not picking up, and then I'm messaging them, later, and by that time. So this has been probably one of the most powerful, I guess, use cases I've seen in the past few days, is that rebooking, because it's done it. I think, let me try and find another occasion.
So boom. So not only does the agent essentially qualify, nurture your leads and book them, but if they also no-show, it will take care of the rebooking process. And you can give it access to as many videos you want to share, because you know that, like, if a lead shows up on an appointment before they actually know anything about what you're doing, then it's just kind of like a waste of time on an appointment. So we essentially get these agents to have YouTube videos, longer format of content, that they share. So the prospect will say, hey, I'm struggling with this issue. Okay, perfect. Hey, we have this quick video I can share with you that breaks down your bottleneck. Would you like me to share it? The prospect says yes. The bot sends the asset, and then once they've consumed it and they got value from it, they say, hey, would you like to apply and actually see how we can actually help you implement this or solve this problem actually, as a service. So this is the whole kind of like entire playbook. Use a swarm of agents to find what's already currently working. Recreate what's already working yourself. Or if you want to go slop maxing, token maxing, and just flood the scroll, go faceless AI, clone yourself, or clone yourself or your clients, and then just flood the algorithm. Okay. Leads come in, retarget them, or you get reach, retarget them. If or reach out to every single one of them, like our client did, and convert everyone through the DMs. And then let's get to work. You owe it to yourself to be great. Ciao, guys. Bye-bye.